Yo, what's up? This is SU456 here, and welcome back to day 69 of my 365-day challenge, right? No. Yo, what? Yes. 69 of my 365-day challenge. Haha, funny number. Anyways, um, as, and this is also episode 9 of my Marvel month. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And this is where it really kicks off. For the MCU. This is probably my favorite, non like team up movie. Um, because there's like, of course, the team up movies are going to be better, but this is my kind of like, non team up movie that is my favorite one. Um, but the movie starts off by showing Steve running with a guy named Sam Wilson, otherwise known as the Falcon. A couple of scenes later, you see Steve visiting a museum made for him and getting nostalgic, if you want to call it that. And then he basically, you know, tries to come to terms with, being away from all of his old squad mates and especially Peggy, which in the next scene he visits Peggy Carter, but this time she's way older and unfortunately, I think she has dementia in the movie, and um, like Steve Steve takes it a little hard, thinking I think he thinks that it was his fault or whatever. But it's a tough scene. Um, Later in the movie, we learn that Shield is compromised when Nick Fury gets ambushed by what I believe to be the same members of Hydra. A few scenes after that, Nick is in Steve's apartment, and as the two are talking, Nick gets shot 3 times and immediately goes unconscious. And that's where we get introduced to Agent Agent Carter, Peggy's daughter, I think. We also get a small glimpse at what the Winter Soldier is. Unfortunately, Nick dies. The movie shows Steve handling uh, uh, like it shows how Steve is handling like all the mistrust and like trying to figure out who he can trust, and all the corruption of Shield. In a later scene, the Steve and Natasha realize that Hydra has been secretly starting wars from inside of Shield. Behind their back, like they've been started, like all the different wars that they've seen happen. They thought that it was just the enemies, but no, it was Shield, or well, it was Hydra this whole entire time. Um, and uh, they basically want to take over the world. Uh, but Steve and Natasha and all the other heroes are not going to let that happen. Um, my favorite scene is whenever Steve and Bucky fight, uh, and they're fighting each other, and then Bucky pulls out a knife and starts throwing it around, trying to stab Steve, stuff like that. I just really like that movie. It was extremely well choreography, and I just think it was really well done. Uh, and good job on the Russo brothers because they did an amazing job with the movie. Uh, Moving on from that, the movie shows Cap and Sam blowing up the helicarrier that Hydra hijacked to take over the world. Um, and then on the final helicarrier, as it's going down, you see Steve and Bucky fighting each other. You can see that Bucky is definitely learning to become more hesitant with fighting Steve because he's starting to remember. Um, he's starting to realize that maybe he, has done some awful shit and stuff like that. And eventually he wants to rekindle with Steve, but he can't really do that because of his, his brainwashing and stuff like that. Um, Most importantly, the end of the movie shows Steve and Sam going to pursue Bucky, and also shows a secret end credit scene where the Hydra agents, some of the Hydra agents, um, find Loki's scepter and they fuck around and they find out what that has to do. And then it also shows um, the start of the mutant side of things with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So we'll see more of those in Age of Ultron. But for now, that's definitely a different story for another day. But let me know what y'all think of Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It's personally one of my favorite movies in the MCU. Um, and yeah, I will see y'all in the next video. See ya.